In this video, we're going to do solar studies in Revit 2019, and we are going to do it just with a simple topo surface and adjacent masses. One issue before you even get started, when you just have masses as your surrounding context, is that you need to make sure they have a material applied to them. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm going to click on my masses. You can't apply materials to them unless you're editing them, so we're going to edit them. Hit Tab, select, and now I'm going to make a new material for them. Create new material, rename, I'm going to call it Context Buildings. And appearance, I'm just going to change it to a lighter color of gray. Graphics, I make sure we use the render appearance. Alright, so that now has a material applied to it. I can finish that mass, and I'm going to do the same thing with these other ones, except now when I tab and select them, I can actually just write in Context Buildings, as long as you use the exact same case and everything. Otherwise, it will get upset and yell at you. So I'm working my way around. If you have multiple objects in a mass, you want to select all of them, or select them individually and change the materials to what you want them to be. I did that one a little differently. I just clicked on this and actually went into the material and selected it. I believe I have this building a little too short, so I'm going to make it not crooked. And I'm going to try and make it a little bit taller. So I believe this one's 60 feet tall. Okay. So finish the mass. And now we're going to jump right into making the solar study. First up, duplicate the 3D view. And I'm going to call this one the summer solstice. Alright, and before you do all of this, please make sure your true north and the location of your project are correct. If I jump to my site plan, type SD to get it shaded so you can see it a little better. I'm set to project north here. We've already established project north as the side of this street. Since my site plan, I'm actually going to set it to true north and hit apply. And that shows you where true north is. If this doesn't match the orientation of the file you're working with, or like the AutoCAD file, or just where north is, you're going to want to rotate it using the Manage tab and rotate true north. So what I would recommend doing is rotate true north. You can actually move this rotation to any point, click on another point, and you can type in the rotation angle here, counterclockwise, or you can just have a line that's already in there and rotate to that line to get it exact. Unless you also know the exact degrees in which direction that you're coming off of. But normally, you just rotate it and snap it to a line that is in the correct orientation. And escape to get out of this. Also, make sure your location is correct. Once your true north is set, make sure you're also set in the right location. We're in Philadelphia here. We've already established that by typing in this address and hitting search and going to the exact location of this site. So hit OK. So I'm going to snap back to my summer solstice view. And down here, this ball with a shadow under it and a red X, that is your turn the shadows on. I'm going to click on that. Now I'm casting shadows. And we also, the main thing we're going to work in now is our sun settings. So click on the sun settings. What we're going to do is we're going to do little animations for each day, for summer, winter solstices, and when the equinoxes. What you can also do is set still and do a specific time of day and have the sun exactly where you want it. Right now it is set to just lighting, which is meaningless. It's just an angle that the sun comes from. This lets you fake the sun's direction. So that's what lighting does. If you're just working on a rendering and you want light to come from a certain direction, you can do that this way. We're going to do single day. And right now it's saying the exact time of day that I'm doing this. But we're going to do summer solstice because that matches our view. And I'm going to leave everything as 2010. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do sunrise to sunset. And I'm going to do every 15 minutes. And my ground plane is not a datum, it is that existing finished floor. And with that, okay. It's showing us right before the sun rises, so everything looks dark. You can then turn on the sun path, so you can actually see the sun angle as it's passing over. And we can also hit Preview Solar Study. And you can hit Go. This is not daylight savings time. That's why it's starting at 4:30. Technically, in the Eastern time zone, that's 5:30. Because we've had daylight savings time. So it would be 5:30 to 8:30. And that shows you how the sun passes over the site. So these views remember all these sun settings, and they don't change any of the sun settings to any other views. So the nice thing you could do is you can make a few of these. I'm going to duplicate that, and we are going to make a winter solstice. And the only thing we need to change is our sun settings. Winter solstice, sunrise to sunset, 15 minutes. Hit the right ground plane. Hit OK. You can see the much lower sun angle that happens in the winter. And I can preview that too. Alright. And let's do an equinox. I'm going to do a spring one. Alright, and same thing, just change the sun settings. We're going to do sunrise to sunset every 15 minutes, get the right ground plane. And again, we can preview it. And that's really it. There's a few ways you can export these things. You can export them as a animation. And if you want to do that, I would normally check and see where our cropping is. Yeah. It's being difficult not letting me grab the cropping. So I'll get out of the preview. Crop it down just to what you want to have in the video or in the image. You can do this before you start duplicating these views so you have the exact same crop region on all of them. I probably should have done that. And now that I have that, I'm at an 8 scale, so this is going to be large. I would do export. Images and options. We're doing the solar study. Right now it's 15 frames a second. That's really fast because there's actually not a lot of frames. There's only 1 frame every 15 minutes for the day. Maybe making them 5 frames a second. That gets you a 10-second long animation. I wouldn't do anything much higher than HD. So we'll scale this down. Let's see, like 1080. And I hit enter. Cancel out of that. Do the same thing again. So I'm hitting a series of misclicks here. Change this back to 5. And try and get to something a little smaller than 80. And then I'm just going to click on another box to let it update. Alright, so we're a little below HD, but that's fine. I normally include the time, date, and stamp and hit OK. It asks you where you want to save it. I'm just going to throw it on my desktop. Yep, save over it. And I'm just going to do full frames uncompressed. That makes a gigantic file, but it's okay. What I would recommend is there's not a lot of options by default on a lot of people's computers. If you have a DivX or something that can compress well in here, I just don't have many good options on this computer. So what I would recommend is exporting it as full frames uncompressed. It's a huge file. Download the free program Handbrake and convert this to an MP4. And it'll be small, it'll be very easy to use, and that would work very well for you. So I'm not going to actually export this, as that will take a little while. But that is how you can export these solar animations, and for different days of the year. Obviously, I did the solstice and equinox, but you can pick any day of the year. Or you can even pick a still image and save that. So that's it. That's the simplest way to make solar animations in Revit 2019.